A lot of people will say that if you take little incremental steps, you can get great things. I think that's a bunch of crap. I think that massive action, you have to do something big and different if you want to get a massive result. You can't just inch your way to it. How many of you are into some massive action? Like, are you ready to like do something big, something different, and like really make a difference? Like, should we take it up another notch? Okay, so you have to find someone who's doing it better than you and just flat out copy them. That is the secret to success. Greatness is predictable, and it leaves clues. And when you find greatness and you start to begin to copy it, what happens is you start to have new experiences. And then you believe that those activities you're focused on actually work. And then you start to believe more. I think it's interesting that so many of us are walking around with our head in the clouds, thinking that the business is going to come to us. I'm telling you something, folks. Wish marketing doesn't work. Oh, I sure wish somebody would call me. Like, Tom Hopkins said, you got to see 20 people belly to belly. That's easier for me. I don't have to get that close. 20 people belly to belly every day. You got to see 20 people. This is a contact sport. You know, walking around. Have you ever heard the phrase, you can't see the forest for the trees? And everybody giving you advice is in the same forest? It's like, how do you get advice from somebody that sits at an elevated position, like a drone or a hot air balloon, or somebody that can see the forest from a different perspective? And they're the ones that are sharing with you advice and counsel and how to go. When you have help from a different position, it changes the nature of your path. We call that coaching. Coaching matters. When you talk to I don't think there was a high performer on stage that didn't talk about or participate in some kind of coaching. Coaching matters. I'm a big fan of Og Mandino. How many of you read Og Mandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World? Anybody read that? All right, one of my favorite books. I sat next to Dave Blanchard on a flight coming back from a Boomtown conference. And he lives in Salt Lake City too. And we were sitting talking about, I told him how I read it in high school. And it made me, like, I just changed the way I thought about life. Og writes Christian books. And he was under all this pressure to write a new book. And he had a hard time coming up with the concept. So he came up with this book called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And it's a parable about a young man who wants to become a great salesman. He seeks out a mentor. And the mentor gives him activities or things he could do so he could create different experiences. And as he went out in the world, he started getting these new beliefs. And then he said, when you get these 10 scrolls done, and you've done all of these things, and your beliefs are now consistent with mine, then I'll unlock the doors to being the greatest salesman. And those experiences were the things that did it. The very first scroll says this, and you can go to page 57. It says, today I begin a new life. Today I shed my old skin, which has long suffered the bruises of failure and the wounds of mediocrity. Today I'm born anew, and my birthplace is a vineyard where there's fruit for all. He's basically saying, all right, anybody want a do-over? What if I could let you start over today? Anybody want to start fresh? Would you like to get rid of all the crap that you've had to deal with, all your excuses for failure? Og Mandino says, I'm going to let you let it go. He says, if you can imagine like a Santa sack that you carry around, whenever you don't hit your numbers or whenever you fall short of your goals, whenever your relationships don't work out, you reach into that bag of excuses and you dig one out and it says, yeah, this always happens to me. I'm going to give you permission to just let it go. And let's just forget about it and let's just move on. No more excuses. You know, I don't like tapes. They don't sound very good. So stop playing them. On the second page, when you flip the page on page 58, he says, the difference between those who've succeeded and those who've failed lies in their habits. Good habits are the unlocked door to success. Bad habits are the key to failure. So the first law I will follow is I will form good habits and become their slave. Now I'm going to ask you all a question, and I'm going to ask simple this. Is it possible that we could change some of your current habits with better habits? You really believe that?